So today I'm starting with a new project, and I'm starting from the bottom up, which isn't always the case, but it is for this one. And I'm turning some custom legs out of reclaimed pine. See how old it is just by the tightness of that grain. So this job is a single sink bathroom vanity project that the customer wanted the entire face that you'll see made out of reclaimed lumber. The inside carcass will still be ply to save on money, but the most of the build is going to be reclaimed lumber, and like I said, I'm starting with the legs. So I already had this material. It's cut-offs from another project I did a few years ago, so they were already small, which is why I'm precariously sending this material through the table saw to round over those edges so there's less material to remove on the lathe. This is not the safest cut. I am well aware of that. Sometimes we do unintelligent things in the shop, but past that last cut, that was the real clencher cut, I was able to get those done, and then I could pull my lathe away from the wall and plant my camera behind it, which actually gave a pretty good view of this project. Now, I'm not someone who I would consider a proficient turner. I think to an average person, I probably am, but to people in the field, I am not. However, she had told me she wanted a very specific rounded design to these legs, and with the size of them, which is essentially the same size as the toe kick that's currently on the cabinet, I was able to draw something up and make this first leg. She loved it. I got approval for it, and I made the next four. This lathe is from the 50s. It's not the smoothest running piece of machinery, but it still gets the job done. And that's all I'm doing, chucking up that block. And you saw the cutout I had for it, which I'll show in a minute or two, which was just something I drew up based on the dimensions. This is kind of the profile of it, and I just use pencil marks to kind of mark where all of the dimensions change. That's how I went about doing it, and then slowly remove material. This is the first turning leg I did. The next three obviously went much faster once I knew the process a little bit better. But the interesting thing about this project starting on the lathe is I specifically got this project because I know how to turn feet. When I was at her house taking measurements, because it's a vanity, and even though she had sent me measurements with all of the plumbing and the partition that was in there was cut because it didn't fit around the P-trap, I wanted to go there and take a bunch of accurate measurements so I can miss all the plumbing, and you don't have a lot of space to work with when it's a single sink. The sink pretty much comes right up to the edge of the cabinet, so that really affected the design. And she had mentioned that I was like the third or fourth person that she had reached out to, because everyone that came before me either only wanted to do parts of the job so they could make the cabinet, but they couldn't turn the legs. Or if you watch the series, you'll see a little bit later, she wants two hidden compartments on the side of the cabinet that are hidden essentially with facade panels, and people did not want to tackle the engineering on that. And I mention that because I know a lot of people watch this channel for tips and tricks, and I don't have all of the answers. But I do think an important part of this job is being resourceful, and people get frustrated with people that come to do a job and they outsource all of the work to different companies and different components. And I specifically got this job because I was willing to do all of it in-house. So I kind of mentioned that as an overlay to the lathe work. Cabinet grade maple veneer ply to start making that carcass. So then first up is going to be a dado for the base of the cabinet, and I'm bringing that 3/4 of an inch up so that my face frame is flush with the bottom panel of the cabinet. It won't have a lip on it. And then with the base cut, I'm now going to put a 1/2 inch rabbet for my backer on this back side. And then the way I like to join my face frames to the front of the cabinet is with a tongue on the cabinet carpet and a groove on the face frame. So even though I don't have all of my parts cut down to final size, while I have the dado stack in there, I like to cut them all so they're identical, and then I'll rip my pieces down to size. So then I could mock this up to the outside width I need, and I could measure in between my dados to get a perfect measurement for my base. I could also measure from the edge of the rabbet to the front and get my depth, because my pieces right now are oversized. And then the last dado I'm going to cut is the partition between the doors and the drawers. And that is going to be a short partition because all of the plumbing is up here as well. And then because I put that tongue on all of my scrap pieces in the beginning, I have this oversized partition with the tongue. So now I can just go cut it down and it will fit in that middle part. So this is what this looks like all glued up. You can see how now all of my parts in the front have that tongue. And then the back, I had that 1/2-inch rabbet, but on the side that meets the wall, I actually made it 1 inch. And then that will give me a 1/2 inch to scribe. And by making it thinner, it's going to be easier to remove this material on site. So to start attaching my feet, I made this with the base was mounted up 3/4 of an inch because I'm going to have 1.5 inch face frame on the bottom that I wanted flush with my bottom panel. So that is why it's mounted forward, which means if I mount my feet now, a lot of the detailing is going to be covered by the side of the cabinet as well as the face frame. So I'm just going to add a spacer right here and on the other side, which will allow my feet to mount flush.